You will not believe what these people lost. So, guys, apparently in Australia, Queensland district or region, rather, of Australia, they lost 323 vials of dangerous, contagious viruses. So, of course, reading the article, that jumps out at you like, all right, well, there's three, out of those 323, there are three viruses that are the concentrates of these 323 vials. Now, the majority of them, I'm not mistaken, were the Lissa virus, the Lisa virus, and then there was the Hendra and the hantavirus. So those are the three main concerns because those are the three that went missing. Now, how they went missing is even more bizarre. Keep in mind, these facilities that operate or deal with contagious viruses or diseases, they have redundancies and protocols that allow them to not have this happen so that it never happens, because it has happened in the past. In the 70s, 60s, and the 80s, they've had these things happen. So they have these protocols out of these things happening, and not just in Australia, Germany, Russia, China, United States, you name it, anywhere that has an infectious disease center or laboratory, they have these protocols so that things like this doesn't happen. So according to the article, they moved these viruses from a malfunctioning fridge to an unknown area. They don't know where they put it. They don't know what fridge it's in, which I'm like, at that point, why wouldn't you just tear the place apart looking for these viruses? So at the end of the article, they start to say, well, they might have been destroyed as per protocol. Well, how would you sit there and say they might have been destroyed? We're not sure where they are, but they definitely know they weren't sold. All right. So that in itself, guys, just sounds very suspicious because to me, it sounds like they're telling people or giving them the alert that these things could be out there, even though they said they weren't sold. Just because they weren't sold doesn't mean that they didn't leave the laboratory. And they also said that they didn't leave the laboratory, but I'm like, how do they know? They're not even 100% sure they're there. They don't know where they are. They're not sure if they were destroyed, but they can't find them in a building. It is not like they took these things on a road trip, they left it on the side of a road, and then they drove off and they go, holy shit, where did we leave it? No, it's in a building. And the fact that they can't find them is a red flag because there's no excuse for not finding something inside of a building. Now, here's the kicker. This happened in 2021. It was discovered that they were missing in 2023. So the story or the incident came to light in 2023. And in 2024, this year, they made a report or they did an article on how these things went missing. So for 2 years, they went unaccounted for. And I guess within 2023, they went looking for them and still couldn't find them and have no clue as to where they went. Again, they have so many protocols so that this doesn't happen, and they have redundancies of those protocols. I don't understand how they lost it. So now I'm going to make a connection to something, and hopefully you guys follow me down that road. So the Hendra virus is one of the viruses in that sample that have gone missing. That disease, if you will, has a 50% fatality rate. You normally get it from horses to human, but you can also get it from pigs as well. The vector are bats. Bats giving it to horses or pigs and then translates down to humans. A lot of people have gotten it from horses who work on horse farms and things of that nature. I haven't heard anybody actually getting it from pigs. Horses were getting sick from this and dying, but now they have an arm ticket for the horses to take, but they have nothing for humans. So the humans that have gotten infected by the Hendra virus have passed away. Again, a 50% mortality rate. Now, the Hana virus, that's a hemorrhagic like fever virus where you actually bleed almost like Ebola, but not quite. That virus has a 38% fatality rate. And they had an outbreak, not an outbreak, but one person caught it last year or a couple years ago in China. He gets on a bus, he takes this long trip on a bus, he gets to his destination, and he wakes up dead. Then you have the Lassa virus. That virus has a high mortality rate if it goes untreated. It mimics, or rather it's a variation or cousin to rabies, or a different kind of rabies. And this Lassa comes out of different bats. So they're different strains of the Lassa virus depending on what bat it is. And depending on whether or not you treat it, if you go past the threshold of, I think it's a couple weeks, you are undoubtedly going to die from it. So it has a high mortality rate if you don't get treated. If you get treated, it has a lower mortality rate, It has a lower mortality rate if you get treated sooner, but you also have to identify it. So, interestingly enough, guys, this story pops or comes to light after disease X is popping up in Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo to be exact, where, as it stands, 406 people are infected and only 31 people died. Now, earlier in one of my last videos, I said 179 people passed away, but the medical officials in Africa, or rather the Democratic Republic of Congo, cannot confirm that 179 people died. They did connect 31 people directly. They're having a hard time connecting others because they're in a rural area and they can't get the testing done that they need to get done to see what they actually died from. Plus, a lot of the kids that are passing away from the age of 5 to 18 are dying because they're malnourished and or starving. So that's also complicating matters because they don't know what exactly they died from, which, again, I call bullshit on it. Doesn't matter whether you're starving or not. If you get sick behind starvation, you're dying from that infection, whatever it is. So that, right now, the report changed, the death toll changed from 179 to 31, but they have reports of it being as high as 141, like a confirmed case. But again, they can't confirm it until who send their medical team out there to investigate, until they get their thorough reports done, which is going to take them a couple of weeks because, again, they're in a rural area in the Democratic Republic of Congo where it can take up to 48 hours by car to get to the capital, which is Kinshasa, in that region, that is. So it's going to take them a while to get their findings together, to get all the evidence and the samples or whatever they need. Then they're going to be able to come forward with what's actually going on and what it is. Some people are saying it could be malaria or it could be something new. They don't know, but they're going to find out. So again, vials go missing. People start getting sick in Africa. Could there be a connection? Could be. Could this be a coincidence? Yes, it could. This could very well be one of those situations where it is an actual coincidence. Nonetheless, we still have to wait and see what this is. As long as this doesn't jump into another country, everything should be fine. Keep in mind, like I said, it's in a rural area, so it takes a lot for it to get from a rural area into a major town or a city, and then from a major city outside of that. So being where it is, it should be okay. We shouldn't hear too much more about it. I will update people as the updates come. But other than that, this is nothing to worry about. This is not even worthy putting on your radar anymore. Now knowing where the epicenter of this is, it's in an area where it's hard to get to and it's hard to get out of. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Prepper channel. Screw that up.